let's get into retinol in your routine.
Cool. So, all right.
I feel like the meat was a little Debbie Downery.
You're
This
right.
is almost like, wait, we didn't put you off and you still want to try it? Awesome. Let's go.
Okay, yes. We should address the question is, after all that,
Yeah.
when would you use retinol? Okay, there's definitely a cohort that don't do well with retinol, and you're looking for retinol alternatives.
Yeah.
And I think that's a fair avenue to wander down. And I think the other thing too is everyone says retinol is so much more gentle than retinol.
You know, the funny thing is that I've heard this claim in both directions of the retinol receptor spectrum.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, it's like tretinoin in strength without the irritation. And they're like, oh, it's more effective and more gentle than retinol. I'm like, how is it all these things?
Everyone just
really?
hates retinol.
Yeah. You're like,
Yeah. But I think just to kind of hone in on the fact that there's a lot of it we still don't understand, the percentages. And I want to say encapsulation does really help. And it's also why retinol is now a lot more well received because of that encapsulation aspect.
Mhm.
So definitely worth a try if you're looking for an alternative. However, and I was going to end on this, but I think we should just start with it, is that if you are happy with your retinoid situation, whatever it is, whatever you're using, there's no need to switch to this new guy. Just
you're
yet.
not missing out. Yeah.
Yeah, you're not missing out yet. There's still a lot we don't understand. Okay, so with that, let's talk about when you go shop for retinol. First of all, what percentage to target? Okay, so
With the available data set, we'll say at least 0.05. That seems to be the starting point for a lot of researchers. But again, based on the data that we're seeing, 0.05 is really mild. And in terms of efficacy, it might be claimed like 10x. So you might think of it as a 0.5% retinol, but we would say that this is probably
No.
equivalent to a 0.1% retinol max. Probably.
yeah. And also keep in mind that some of these studies are using it twice a day,
Yeah.
which I think is quite important.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then in terms of how to use, we're going to say use it similar to your retinol products. A lot of these are going to be coming in emulsion forms.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them are quite yellow, I must say.
Yeah, it's super yellow. Actually, you know what's interesting is in that encapsulation paper that I looked at from the beginning of the episode,
Yeah.
they have a picture of showcasing that this encapsulation technology actually help retinol disperse better in formulas, and the concoction is this sweater yellow, this mustardy, very, very
Gloria
bright
stands in
yellow.
solidarity with retinoids
Yeah.
right now.
And you guys are wondering why the hell I wore this color. It's for retinol.
It's a great color.
Yeah, so a lot of them are this yellow, creamy thingy.
I also find it funny your coffee cup. She's like really in the mood.
I'm just diving in. I'm all in.
Yeah. So you're going to want to use it after your serums and before your oils and balms. And I think one thing we want to add is we did try to scour the retinol landscape as of now.
Mhm.
And I think we've already given you, what percentage to aim for. 0.05 to 0.1%, probably a good starting point. If you find any clinicals, I would go with that. Peach and Lily, they have a 0.1% retinol, and they did do a clinical.
Mhm.
We won't go through the results, but I just want to point you in. We'll give you a couple products to kind of give you an idea of the space. So that would be one you can look at their claims. In terms of the space, you have Naturium, who offers actually a 0.05 and a 0.1% retinaldehyde, which I think is very cool. Try the 0.05%, especially if you have sensitive, dry, or just like haven't had a really good experience with retinoids in general. Elf also has a retinol, but weirdly enough, it's blended. So it comes with a 0.06% retinol with a 1% gram active retinoid. I gotta be honest, I'm not into blends with retinaldehyde just yet.
Me too. I think I agree with that. I also feel like with retinoids in general, when we are seeing a lot more blends of different retinoids, especially these new age ones, I just feel like it's a very non-committal way of like buying insurance policy. It's like one of these retinoids gotta do something.
Let's
Right?
see something.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point. And then finally, You to the People, they do offer a 0.15% retinol.
Which is the highest on the list.
Yes. And funny enough, one of our friends at Taryn5926, she actually happened to ask if we were going to talk about retinol. We got you. And wanted to know, they're actually in between choosing retinols. They're trying to figure out if they should move from their 0.1% retinaldehyde by Naturium to the 0.15% stabilized retinol plus niacinamide serum by You to the People.
I think, so first of all, as we mentioned in this episode, your retinol has to be encapsulated. There is just no way that naked retinol is going to survive. And the thing is, that kind of technology is usually pretty proprietary. What type of encapsulation they're using, you just can't really tell based on just the ingredient list. Even for us, sometimes there are some telltale signs, sometimes it can be hard to pick up.
Yeah. And I think I would want to ask also, like, skin concern wise, what's your goal?
Yeah.
Like Gloria mentioned before, right now, a lot of the data we see is really good outlook for wrinkles, skin resurfacing and texture. That all seems to be pretty good. Hyperpigmentation, we haven't seen enough data yet, and that might come out in the future. But think about your goals. And then if you're wanting to upgrade because you'd like to add some oomph to the results, maybe that's worth a try. Or you could look at a retinol.
Yes. Yeah, but between these two products, we have the ingredient list pulled. We'll put that up real fast. One of the things that kind of jump out to me is that we pulled both of these ingredient lists. They have relatively similar levels to it. We see a lot more supporting cast around the use with people formula. It does come with 5% niacinamide, which could help with that brightening aspect that retinol may or may not be super helpful for. It also has the classic ceramide blend somewhere in there. It's a pretty nourishing formula all around. We see cyclodextrin, which could be that component that helps stabilize the retinol. But that's not to say that the Naturium one isn't. It's just, again, like I mentioned, which retinol tech they're using isn't super, super clear to us. So ultimately, is it worth the price hike and also to get 0.05% more retinol? Maybe. It does seem like a heavier hitting formula. So that's where we'll leave that.
Yeah. So I think, if you've been seeing great results with retinaldehyde, you want to bump it up, worth a try.
Yeah.
If you, I don't know, I guess the only time maybe you wouldn't want to is because maybe you're still feeling like you're not, I guess you're still dealing with maybe some side effects, dryness or whatnot. Then maybe it's just you're not quite ready yet. But yeah.
So cool.
Yeah, I gotta be honest. I think this category is just it's just budding.
Yeah,
I think there's gonna be so many more launches coming. And it'll be very interesting to see how this landscape expands. And of course, Gloria and I will also be monitoring a lot of the ingredient side, the behind the scenes side, to see what happens with this category. And it's going to change. So